I sent some handouts this time, and one is the an assignment of URC, right? So keep the URC and also keep the URC articles near you so that we could tackle one or two questions at least before going to Incoterms. So I have given you a complete text of Incoterms, and you have to be careful to keep that the Incoterms articles, right? And I thought I have given you a summary of Incoterms source as well, but to see it's not there. But then next time I'll give a summary of the Incoterms source so that you could study that accordingly. But the briefing of Incoterms, which is called the trade terms source, I will try to illustrate and try to grasp it somehow. And again, I'm telling you, it's an important session for your syllabus. And every time this particular Incoterms area, they will put one or two questions, right? And not a difficult area, but only thing you have to catch up quickly, and you may have to study well, right? So we'll do some assignments which related to articles of URC. So take the what do you call the assignments of URC near the phone and go to the question number 1. Question number 1. Right. So read the question with me now. Your bank has received a set of shipping documents accompanied by a draft drawn at 90 days date covering an export from Sri Lanka, requesting your bank to collect the bill and credit the proceeds to their account with your bank. The covenant letter also states the full details of the principal and the drawees, the amount and the currency to be collected, the method of payment, the form of payment advice, instructions in case of non-acceptance and or non-payment, and that no interest is payable. Summarize the reasons, 5 other instructions you would seek from the exporter in order to handle this correction while safeguarding the interest of your bank. Now, these are past paper questions based on 2009, but I have slightly modified. Just think for about 1 or 2 minutes. I will discuss the answer. And the answers that I have not given, neither I intend of giving the answers in the sense in print form, but I will discuss, try to figure out how we structure the answer, and also you need to inculcate yourself when you are structuring an answer for trade. You have to give in point form. Don't write in paragraphs or in one sentence or two sentences or a couple of sentences together to appear as a paragraph, but give it in point form and give a little bit of a glimpse on the marks that they have allocated. So it's here it says 7 marks. So write 7 or more, or 7 or 8, 9 points, so that you could collect the 7 points if they are very precise. So that's how it goes. Now see, coming to the second paragraph once again, the covenant letter also states the full details of the principal and drawees, the amount and the currency to be collected, the method of payment, form of payment advice, instructions in the case of non-acceptance, non-payment, and that no interest is payable. Right. Now, I hope that you have a sheet of paper near you. So take it down very quickly as possible and say, as per Article 4 of URC 522, as per Article 4 of URC 522, URC 522, as per Article 4 of URC 522, a correction instruction a collection instruction should contain, the collection instruction should contain following items as well. Following items as well. Right. Why I said like that is because certain items that they have already mentioned. Right. Point 1, don't say 1, 2, 3, 4, you can put in bullet form. Say, first point, that the collection order is subjected to, that the collection order is subjected to URC 522. URC 522. URC 522. Now, if you're fast enough, you can have the articles also near you and see how I'm compiling the answer. Right. I'm stressing on the article 4A and 4B. Right. That's why I said as per article 4. Right. Then you can say details of the presenting bank. Details of the presenting bank. That is the next bullet, right? Details of the presenting bank. So don't, put an effort to complete sentences and maintaining the tenses. You put in phrase form, but in point form, right? So adopt that method. So we will not, get marks cut unnecessarily. Details of the presenting bank. Details of the presenting bank. Here the presenting, the P is capital, right? Presenting bank. Next point, list of documents. List of documents enclosed. List of documents enclosed. And the numerical count. And the numerical count of each document. And the numerical count of each document. Right? Then terms and conditions. Terms and conditions. Terms and conditions of the delivery of documents. Of the delivery of documents. That is to say, how the presenting bank is supposed to deliver the documents, whether it's under DP or DA or any other terms and conditions. So the terms and conditions upon which the payment has to be acceptance or delivered, right? Then charges to be collected. Charges to be collected. If any, right? Charges to be collected. Charges to be collected. Terms of delivery. Terms of delivery. Right. Second question. Your bank has received a documentary collection from one of your correspondent banks abroad, drawn one of your customers on DP terms and subject to 522. The relative goods have been dispatched by air freight consigned to a bank. Briefly describe the position of your bank in relation to the goods as possible as provided in 522. So this is based on Article 10. You can structure the answer. As per Article 10 of URC 522, one thing I need to tell you, when you're structuring answers, it is not a must that you need to, quote the number of the article the way that I'm saying. If you can't remember the article properly, you just say as per URC. But then why I'm giving you the article number and the sub-article and everything precisely so that you will have a chance of, if when you think fit, right, to go back to the articles and refer and see and structure the answer in a more finer way that I'm saying, right? And also when you're reading an article, there are lots of things that you may read, not only cover to this particular question, but to other questions also as well. The reason why I'm giving the article for you. Otherwise, it's not a must that you need to know the article. Of course, if yes, if you're a trade practitioner, but for this exam, the number of the article not quoting will not have a negative effect on that. And also, I need to tell you, in excellent, if you misquote on an article, say instead of Article 4, if you say as per Article 5 of URC 522 and give the contents of the Article 4 what you have in mind, still you will not get marks cut. So be on the safe. Be on the safe. If you don't remember the article, don't mention the article number. Right. So as per 10, this is the second question. As per 10, as per Article 10 of URC 522, goods should not be dispatched. Taken down, right? Goods should not be dispatched. Goods should not be dispatched directly to the address of the bank. Directly to the address of a bank. Or consigned. Or consigned. To consign or to the order of a bank. Should dispatch direct to the bank, or they should not, consign to the bank, or they should not structure the documents to the order of the bank. Order of a bank. Now, the next sentence is the most important thing. Without prior agreement, on the part of that bank. On the part of that bank. Right? Next point. In the event that goods are dispatched directly, to the address of a bank, or consigned to, or to the order of a bank, for release to a drawee, DRAWEE, to release to a drawee, against payment or acceptance, without prior agreement, on the part of that bank on the part of that bank, such bank shall have no obligation. Such bank shall have no obligation. Shall have no obligation to take delivery of the goods. Goods. Continue. Next point. And you say goods, semicolon, next point, which remain at the risk and responsibility, which remain at the risk and responsibility of the party dispatching the goods. Dispatching the goods. Right. Now I have next question for your homework. Now see, by doing these two questions, you will not get an idea how to tackle the rest of the questions, because this particular assignment that I have given in a tutorial form. So one question will not have an influence on the next question, that I admit. But if you read the answers, the way that I have structured the two questions answers, you will get a slight idea at least how to pen on, right? And little bit of study backup should be able to tackle the third question also as well. So your homework is to tackle the third questions very carefully, read the question very carefully, right? And try to get that 8 marks that I have allotted, and see where the supporting articles are, and see whether you can, attempt the question and send it to me through my email. Right. So I will tackle the next question. Question after next rather. Right. So don't forget to do the third question. That is, your bank has used one of a correspondent abroad and document correction to handle on DP terms that question, right? Right.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
I have joined for the first time. Can't I get the questions? Because I
can't you what?
didn't get question.
You don't have the question paper with you?
No. You mean question paper 2019?
No. The assignment that I have given to you.
No, I today only I joined for this Google Classroom.
Then of course you will have an issue, because I can declare the question for you to take it down, but it might take a little time for me anyway.
Doesn't matter. You carry on this thing. Can't I get an email of that? Can't, no?
I'll do that for you. Okay, you text me your email address.
Okay.
And but now itself I want to do it, right?
Yes, I jot down the answers. I have the articles also.
That's encouraging, child. Anyway, you give somebody call, text me the email address. I will see whether I can send you a soft copy from my mail, right?
Right.
My number goes as 0777 587 149.
7. Okay.
Yes, 0777.
Right.
587 149.
587
149.
Right. I will text my email address. Thank you very much.
Text your email address so that I could this thing. In the meantime, don't forget to collect all the handout bits, even for other students I'm telling, from the college, right?
Right. Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Right. Next question, and thank you very much for that particular question. And if there's any question like in that pen or any other matter, the way that I'm putting it forward across, please put in the chat or try to voice off so that I could put myself down a little bit and try to explain. And this again a very very important session I'm telling you. Why I'm saying important is URC is the core area of trade, one of the core areas, right? So therefore there's no reason why the examiner should avoid putting a question from URC. Right. Next question. Your bank received one of your correspondent banks abroad a document collection for $40,000 to be handled subject to 522. The documents contain a bill of exchange for US dollars 40,000, two sets of invoices for 25 and 15, with two separate sets of bills of lading related to each invoice. The drawing informs you that the goods in respect of the invoice for $50,000 are due to arrive only in 2 days, but the goods in respect of the invoice for $25,000 is due to arrive only in 2 weeks' time. They request your bank to release the invoices and the bill of lading relating to the shipment for 15,000 against payment to enable them to take delivery, and they undertake to pay the balance in time to take delivery in 2 weeks' time. How would you handle this request? Right, just 4 marks based on 2011 year paper. Right. Now there are two sets of documents attached to one collection instruction and sent across. Right. It may be a mistake by the principal. Principal is the exporter, or it could be a mistake by the principal's bank, that's the remitting bank. But the two sets of invoices, that the two separate consignments being dispatched on two different intervals, but they have principal has submitted the documents together, and accidentally, without drawing two sets of collection instructions, they have attached the sets of invoices and the documents together and sent across. Drawing here you have to note here, you have to underline there, but the bill of exchange is for $40,000, that is 25 plus 15. There's no two bills of exchange, there's only one bill of exchange for 40,000. And the collection instruction says deliver documents against payment. So the processing bank cannot release documents without receiving of payment, right? That is the number one you need to know. But here the customer has a fair request from your bank. Your bank is the processing bank now. One more thing I forgot to tell you. When you're reading a question that offers comes through practice actually, you need to put yourself and find out which shoes that you are wearing. In this case, you are the presenting bank. You are the presenting bank, right? So that depends on the question. So he says to the presenting bank, that is to you or to your bank, customer says, here look, it's true that you have got two sets of documents. One is for 15 and another one is for 25. $50,000 documents, the relevant consignment is in 2 days' time. It will land in Colombo. So I will take that document. Why I should block the capital for the $25,000 now itself? Because the documents, or rather the goods, will come after 2 weeks' time. I'm just blocking my capital, right? And therefore, please do consider to give me the $15,000 document now, and obviously after 2 weeks' time I will sell the rest of the thing, because it's a reasonable request from the bank, because I'm a valued customer, long-standing customer, and I have the credit worthiness of for that particular bill loss as well, right? And in other words, the customer will give a further letter of authority to the bank. Okay, you what do you call? I have enough balance for the $25,000. Within 2 weeks' time, you can make a lien and give the part of the documents now, right? Right. Think for a couple of seconds what the article that is touching. Can you show me in the chat box what the article that is comes to your mind quickly as possible? Yes. Very good. Abhishek. Right. If you try to be more precise, Article 19 has 2 articles or 3 articles. What is the article here? It's 19B. 19B. Right. Now I want you all to, I hope that everybody has the articles near you, near the phone. So I am also turning the Article 19 page, and I want to read with me the Article 19B, that's a sub-article 19B. And thank you, Abhishek, once again, to quoting the article in no time. In respect of document collection, and one more thing, I think I received the email address to my text. I will make sure that I will forward the what you call the soft copy of the assignment soon as possible. Right. In respect of document collections, partial payments will only be accepted if specifically authorized in the collection instructions. However, unless otherwise instructed, the proceeding bank will release the documents to the drawee only after full payment has been received. And the proceeding bank will not be responsible for any consequences arising out of delay in the delivery of documents. So article is very clear and very stubborn in there, and it says, unless it's specifically authorized in the collection instruction, bank will not release documents partially. They're very clear. Right. Now starts the answer. Say, point 1. As per sub-article 19B, B for Bertie, 19B of URC 522. Partial payments will only be accepted. Partial payments will only be accepted if specifically authorized in the collection instruction. Partial payments will only be accepted if specifically authorized in the collection instruction. That is point 1. However, second point, however, presenting bank will release the documents. Presenting bank will release the documents to the drawee. Only after full payment. Only after full payment has been received. If I explain that, the bank cannot release documents accepting payments partially. And if the bank is going to accept partially, right, bank cannot release the documents to the drawee unless the full payment has been received. Right? That's what the second point says. Right? So if you do not understand properly, you have to refer to the article and try to find the point that I have told you. Right? So those are the 2 points. Now, reverting back to the question again, what the question asks you is, how would you handle this request? The last question. How would you handle this request? So, it's a valued customer, and and also you want to retain the customers as well, just quoting the articles and tell the customer to get out of the place is because you are not going to retain the customer. You will have the articles in you, but not the customers. So you need to help the customer now. So what you can suggest the customer is this. Now this is a part that is beyond the articles now, right? Article says you can't do partially unless it's specifically authorized in the connection instruction. And nevertheless, if you try to accept partially, you can't reach the documents with drawee unless you receive the payment in full. That's what the article says, very clear, 19B, right? So what you can do is, you can, if the customer is credit worthy for the $25,000, you can grant a import loan for that particular period, for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 1 month, you can grant a loan, right? But just because you grant a loan, you can't refrain from repatriating funds only for 15,000, because it's not a business to the principal or the remitting bank to know that you have given, not in supply, but then you have given a loan that is between your bank, that is the presenting bank, and the drawee's contract. That has nothing to do with the URC 522. So you have granted import loan now after evaluating his credit worthiness. And if he is credit worthy for 25,000, might as well you grant a loan. But just because you grant a loan, you can't refrain from remitting the full payment. You can do whatever you want, but you have to remit the money for the full payment. Right. Now is that an idea? No? Right. We'll structure the answer. While taking down the answer, you will get to know what I'm trying to say. Right. The next point. This question is for your bank. No? So you can say, if the customer of our bank, is the customer of our bank is credit worthy, is credit worthy, is credit worthy, is credit worthy, our bank can extend an import loan. Our bank can extend an import loan. You have to write precisely, a short-term import loan. Short-term import loan, not a term loan. Short-term import loan for US dollars 25,000, equivalent in rupees. Equivalent in rupees. Equivalent in rupees. Continue with the same point and release the documents. For US dollars 15,000 only. To release the documents and release the documents for US dollars 15,000 only. That $25,000 documents you are going to retain, right? Right. Next point. However, our bank should remit. Our bank should remit the full value of the draft. Draft means the bill of exchange. Our bank should remit the full value of the draft. That is for US dollars 40,000. That is for US dollars 40,000. as per the collection instruction. As per the collection instruction. Next point. Our bank can now recover, strike the word now there. Our bank will recover the import loan as agreed in the loan agreement, as agreed in the loan agreement, after 2 weeks' time. After 2 weeks' time, in good value. That is the loan amount plus the interest for 2 weeks, right? In good value. Once the loan is settled, the final point, once the loan is settled, our bank now can release the documents for US dollars 25,000 to our customer. It's a drawee, right? Now that is not an easy question actually. It is based on the article and also checking your practicality and also the way that as a manager of imports, how you are going to tackle that question without disappointing the customer. Provided there's only one ingredient in there, provided that customer is credit worthy. And you are not going to tell your remitting bank and to whom the document be sent across what you have done to that particular document. That is not their concern. They have told you to release documents against payment. So we have released documents against payment, right? And it's a contract between your bank and the drawee to, get the money later for 2 weeks' time, right? For that you are making you are taking a loan agreement from the customer, so customer cannot deviate from that. And after 2 weeks' time, according to loan agreement, you can recover the loan plus the interest. And after that only, you will release the documents to the customer. Right. So I have given you one homework, that is the third question. And as and when time permits, I will tackle 1 or 2 questions again from this particular assignment. There are plenty of assignments I do have, but in this semester I won't be able to do the whole thing because of this arrangement and also the short time that we have before the exam, right? So you need to develop things and study very quickly without waiting for the last moment, and also tackle the assignments as far as possible. So I appreciate if you can send me the answer for the question number 3. I will check, and if necessary I will correct it and send across. Right. Now when I'm giving a question for your homework, that goes without saying that particular question will not be discussed in the class again, because I will be discussing or intend discussing with the students individually. Right. Now we'll move on to a new session called Incoterms. I have given a huge booklet. Don't waste your time by reading that. Just try to read the preface of the articles. Right. I will get you a good summary of the particular Incoterms that I have given. It's running into 48 pages, I think. The whole thing I won't finish today, the Incoterms, so I will put on to the next Sunday also as well, right? Right. In the meantime, I want to make a small reminder to one of at least couple of students. I can see certain noises coming. Some of the students have not muted the audio. Please do mute the audio so that it will not what you call have a disturbance sound, right? Incoterms, right? Incoterms means trade terms. It's a contract between the buyer and the seller with regard to moving of goods, moving of goods from one point, that is to the other way around, one point to the other point. Goods are being moved, and when they move the goods, there's a contract of carriage. The contract of carriage. And when the goods are moving, the responsibilities are passing from one point to another point. And remember, these two guys are domiciled in two different entities of law. They are in two different countries. And therefore, you have to have some kind of an uniformity when you're dealing with international trade. And therefore, irrespective of the fact that what the governing body here, they have informed the trade practices, especially the trade terms, based on cost liabilities, cost and liabilities, and obligations. So I will show the slide. I think I have given you a slide on that. Right. So these Incoterms actually, that is international commercial terms, the version we intend discussing 2010, but the current version is 2020. Right? It came to effect in January 20. So I'm not quite sure to which set of articles that the examiner will put this time. So therefore, it's necessary for us to know the both Incoterms. But I have given you the handout is based on 2010. There are a few changes in 2020 compared with 2010. So simultaneously, I give that particular change so they can take it down. Otherwise, it's more or less the same. Right. Now, what the Incoterms rules do? What the Incoterms rules do? Incoterms rules uniforms the responsibilities and the obligation and the risks. So when I say the risk, at which point the seller's risk passes on to buyer, that's what you call the risk point, right? And all the Incoterms are being denoted in three-letter trade term. Example, CIF, DAP, like that. Right. Now, there are 11 Incoterms. There are 11 Incoterms, and remember, students, you have to by heart these Incoterms 11. Right? There are 11 Incoterms. These 11 Incoterms could be divided into two groups. Two groups. Two groups. One group has 4 Incoterms, other group have 7 Incoterms. This Incoterms which have 4 Incoterms, 4 trade terms, in this particular group could be used exclusive for sea and inland waterways. Sea and inland waterways. Right? These Incoterms, these 4 Incoterms could be used only for sea and inland waterways. Not on road, not on rail, not by air, or any mode of shipment. It could be used only for sea freight or inland waterways. Through rivers, lakes, like that. FAS, FOB, CFR, and CIF. FAS, FOB, CFR, and CIF. FA stand for free alongside ship. Free alongside ship. Free alongside ship. FOB stand for free on board. Free on board. CFR stand for cost and freight. Cost and freight. Then CIF stand for cost, insurance and freight. Right. You need to remember these 4 Incoterms very thoroughly. FAs, FOB, CFR, and CIF cannot be used for air shipment. These 4 Incoterms could be used only for sea and inland waterways. Why I am saying repeatedly this thing is be tested over and over again, and in future also it will be for sure in the MCQs. Right. The rest of the Incoterms, rest of the 7 Incoterms could be used for any mode or mode of shipments. Right? X works, free carrier, X works, free carrier, but noted by the acronyms or by the abbreviations being hinted in the handout. You can go through that. X works, free carrier, carriage paid to, carriage paid to, then you get the carriage and the insurance paid, carriage paid to, and the carriage and insurance paid. Then you get the debt, put an asterisk in here if you are taking down now, otherwise it's not necessary. Or in the handout if you have, you put an asterisk in there, that. Then you get the debt. That stands for delivered at terminal. Delivered at terminal and delivered at place debt. Then you get the last Incoterm called DDP. Delivered duty paid. Delivered duty paid. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This Incoterm debt we change into DPU in 2020 version. That's the current version. That's how to make a note of it. This debt being changed into DPU. DPU stands for delivered place unloaded. Delivered place unloaded. Delivered at terminal. Delivered place unloaded. Right. So these 7 Incoterms could be used for any mode or any modes of shipment. Why I say any modes of shipment? Because you can have couple of legs. You can have the C leg, what you call the air leg first, right? Then it comes road. Then there could be a shipment carrying from road to road again. So there will be a road leg, right? And rail, like that you can have any modes or any modes. If I ask a question to teach you, can FC used for sea shipment? Answer is yes. Because why I said it could be used for any mode of shipment, right? So when you say any mode of shipment, these 7 Incoterms could be used even for sea. But these 4 Incoterms cannot be used for any other mode other than sea and inland waterways. So did that correct? Right. So I'll do 1 or 2 Incoterms and shifting for the next session the rest of the Incoterms. And also I'll give you the summary of the Incoterms and also will support with the assignment also. Then after that that is next Sunday. So within another, my time is little less than 10 minutes to 2. At sharp 2 o'clock we'll start the forex. Right. X works. Right. Now this is the seller. This is the buyer. Now this is the seller's premises. So in this particular Incoterm, seller's obligation is to prepare the goods. Obviously, travel packaging means, right? It has to be in the exportable manner. He can't just dump the goods to perish, right? Exportable manner. He has to keep the goods either on his own premises or in a warehouse or in an ex-factory, agreed by these 2 parties, right? So seller will prepare the goods in exportable manner and keep the goods and inform or rather notify the buyer, right? What the seller's responsibility? To keep the goods in exportable manner in a travel packaging, in a travel worthy packaging rather, travel worthy packaging in its own premises or in ex-factory agreed by the parties, right? So I will say ex-factory. That is why the word ex-works have had come. Ex-works, ex-factory. And what is the second responsibility? He can't just keep the goods in there. He has to notify the buyer. Notifies the buyer. When he does these 2, then you say delivery completes. So seller has completed the delivery. Now remember students, the word delivery has a complete different meaning in terms of Incoterms, right? Now, surely you must be knowing about pizza delivery. The pizza guy who delivers, the delivery man comes and knocks the bell and you will hand over the pizza delivery or the pizza. Then notice the delivery has been completed. Here delivery is not that. Right? This is not a physical delivery. When the seller fulfills his requirements of these 2, that is as good as the goods have been delivered. But remember, goods still in the premises. So he can wash his hands off because his responsibility is completed now. So that's the beauty and the difficulty of understanding the Incoterms. So every Incoterm has different responsibilities and liabilities from the seller and the buyer. So you need to know all 11 Incoterms, risks and liabilities of each seller and the buyer. So come again with the delivery. Take it down very quickly as possible. I will rush. Delivery. It means it means at which point seller's risk seller's risk passes on to buyer. At which point the seller's risk passes on to buyer. That point of transfer is called the critical point. Critical point. Right? Now, your task now, you have a very comprehensive Incoterm handout, not a handout actually, it's a booklet actually. So you read the X works and come next time, right? So this is only one Incoterm I did, and I need to shift to the Forex now for the next one now, and try to grab the Incoterms quickly as possible. And next Sunday, I will rush the Incoterms so that we will finish the Incoterms somehow. But finishing the Incoterms will not be able to do an assignment. So we will do the assignment on the following Sunday. That is Sunday after next. Right. Right. You have that Forex assignment paper with you, no? Take that out now. We did a little bit of a paving on the Forex question. From that point on, we'll do the sum. Fish out the paper and keep it near you. So tell me in the chat at least one or two students whether you have fetched the Forex assignment paper one, so that I could start with quickly. We have only one now. At least one of the students tell me whether you have fetched the Forex assignment one. Yes, Padmanabhan Pradeep, thank you. And I hope, Pradeep, that you were there the last session also as well. Now, last time I discussed how to figure out the fixed period and the option period. Fixed period is the period is very specified, and no financial transactions been happening during the fixed period of a contract. During the fixed period, customer is liable and entitled. If I say correctly, customer is entitled and he is liable. Option period is the period that the financial transactions will occur. During the option period, customer is entitled, but he is not liable. Right? So remember that those two. And also, I did tell you, in the sense I was refreshing you, in a direct quote, you always buy low and sell high to make a higher spread. Conversely, in an indirect quote, you always buy high and sell low to make a higher spread. Right? Now take the question number one again. So I will start from the place where that I stopped earlier. And then what I'm trying to do is, I will do the sum straight away and try to explain why I did in that method. Then it will be easy to catch. The way that I'm doing on a live class is not that appropriate in online sessions, so I rehearsed a little bit at home before coming today, and I thought of doing the sum in the board straight away. Right? See whether it's catchy, and and you are going to make a nudge to me whether you can understand or not. And only thing you have to focus and be with me for this particular sum, and I'm doing for the next roughly for 1 hour. Right. So there are two export shipments in the first paragraph, and there's one import shipment in the second paragraph. So I am doing the first export shipment, and the base of calculation I gave you in the first export shipment. Right. Right. And you will recall the first export shipment was booked for total number of 8 weeks from the date of contract, which is for 1 month fixed and for 1 month
Sir,
option.
excuse me.
Yes.
The ink is not clear, sir.
What is it? What is it?
The ink is not clear. The
It is not clear. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you for telling me. Just see whether it's all right now. I'll get down a black pen again.
Yeah, sir. Now okay.
Ah, fine. Thank you. Right. So this particular contract was booked for 8 weeks from the date of contract. Right. And 8 weeks you divide by 4. Why is that? Because we had an assumption 4 weeks is 1 month. So that you get 2 months without remaining. Give one for option, and the rest of the period will be the fixed period. So therefore the contract was booked for 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. Right. Right. Now take it down this please. US to LKR spot this is a calculation. Now we have wrote the base of calculation earlier, remember? Underneath the base of calculation, you get the calculation. So USD to LKR spot equal to 111.50 and 1 month forward equal to 0.70 and adding that 112.20. Hope that you have a calculator in you. 112.20. Right. Right. Took it down. USD LKR spot 111.50. Now there are two rates being given, 111.50 and 111.60. Remember, we are in the export leg. We are in the export leg. So, in the case of an export leg, USD LKR is a direct quote, and you have to buy the least. Why? I did explain earlier. Euro has to convert into LKR. That's the export. If the export proceeds, when it comes and hits the nostril account of the bank, bank is supposed to convert the euros into LKR. You cannot convert euro to LKR, neither from LKR to UR. So therefore, you have to convert euro to USD first and then back to LKR. So this is the first leg and this is the second leg. Take it down separately. Euro has to be converted into USD at the first leg. Secondly, what we are doing is this, they have been told by me, right? This is repetition I'm doing. And the second leg, USD has to be converted into LKR. So in other words, the first leg what has had happened actually, US dollars being sold for EUR. So therefore, the position of the USD is a sale. In the second leg, LKR be sold for US dollars. So in other words, when the LKR being sold, obviously US dollar has to be purchased. You sell something for a purchase. So a position in dollars is a purchase. Euro to USD is an indirect quote. In an indirect quote, you always sell low. USD to LKR is a direct quote. A direct quote, you always purchase low. Now, with the sum we are calculating USD LKR is the second leg here. So that is why I took 111.50 because this is lesser than 111.60. Right? Understood that? Right. Give me a nudge, one or two people, students, whether you understand that or not. Because we need to go step by step, otherwise get stuck a little bit. Right. So I got a feedback from two students saying that you understood. Pero kami tomato may pen sa ginagawa na kami di ba na kakot. Right. Now here, I have put 70 here. Why I am taking 70 over 80 is now out of the question because I have taken the left hand side of the figure, that is 111.50. Look at the grid. It says 111.50. So therefore I have to take the 70 cents. You can't take the 80 cents, no, I have to take the 70 cents on the left hand side. Those are the soft points, right? So there's no question why I took the 70 cents, I needn't explain. But I have to explain why I took the 0.70 here. That part, of course, I told last time. Here the spot rate is given in rupees. So points are given in cents. So therefore, to convert into rupees, I have divided the 70 by 100. Right? Then it becomes 0.70. You can use the calculator or shift the decimal point towards the left hand side, two places, 0.70. Right? Understood? Now, I have said add here. Now, that's a difficult task for me to explain unless you are with me. Right. I hope you can see the area in here. Now you need to know a little bit of fundamental algebra here. For the benefit of all students, for some people may be very simple this is. For the benefit of everybody, I will give you a small right, thank you. A small illustration. So bear up with me and take it down. And if it is too simple and too fundamental, you can just ignore, right? So I'm taking four characters, A, B, C, D. And I will give a relationship for these four characters. A is less than B, right? A is less than B. I'll name the statement as 1. And I'll take another pair, C is less than D. I'll name that statement as 2. Then after that, I will try to add these two statements. You can put actual figures and do it at home and see what I'm trying to say. A is less than B and C is less than D. Those are the two statements. And you have an unequal sign. Everybody here, I assume that everybody knows the meaning of this equal sign. It's the lesser sign. Lesser sign. And if the pointer directs onto your right hand side, that is the greater sign. So A is less than B, C is less than D, fine. So if I try to add these two, the left hand side gives A plus C. And the right hand side gives you B plus D. And this unequal sign does not change. You can put actual figures and see. Right. If I try to deduct the second statement from 1 or from the first statement from the 2 statement, you will see you will not get an answer mathematically. So what's the conclusion? You have if you see a couple of unequal sign, you see here couple or a set of unequal sign. If that particular unequal sign directs to one direction, the point of the unequal sign directs to one direction. In this case, it directs to one direction. Then you can possibly add only. You cannot subtract. Understood? Right. If you understand, if you understood the concept very clearly, I know that it's not being understood very clearly, but at least that you understood this thing that I'm saying across, then you put a nudge to me quickly as possible so that I go to the next concept. I'm waiting for your lunch. Yes. Yes, sir, that is more pronouncing. Right. Then we'll take another concept. So I hope that you have taken down with me, right? Right. So with the same assumption, ABCD are simple characters. They are equal to each other, unequal to 0. That's my assumption, right? The first I didn't say, no? Yes, these are unequal characters, simple characters, unequal to 0. Right. We say A is less than B, first statement. Second statement I will give as C greater than D. If I try to deduct 2 from the first statement, I will get A minus C on the left hand side and the B minus D for the left hand side, right hand side, and the unequal sign will give as less. Put actual figures and see. If I try to subtract the first statement from the second statement, I will get C minus A for the left hand side, D minus B for the right hand side, and the unequal sign will have a greater sign. For some students, it might be slightly difficult to understand. If you think like that, or if you visualize that, just take it as it is, without cursing me, by heart, and spew out, or vomit off, or throw it out after the exam. Right. If I try to add the first statement and the second statement, I will have no answer in mathematics. Right? So what's the conclusion? What's the conclusion? If you have a set of unequal sign posing on opposite direction, the pointer, this is to the left hand side, point of this unequal sign to the right hand side. You cannot add. You can subtract only. Understood that? Right. Give me an answer quickly. So I'm ready for you. Yes. Only one person. At least another one or two. Right. Doesn't matter if you are, say, reluctant even, you may have understood the way that I'm saying this, but you have not, maybe you are not be convinced what I'm saying. That of course you need to do a little practice at home, put normal figures and see. Right? So what is the final conclusion that we have now? If you have a couple, a jodu, with unequal sign, if the unequal sign poses the same direction, you can add. Cannot ever deduct. If you have a couple posing in the opposite direction, you can subtract only. You cannot add together. You cannot add. No marriage involved in there. Right. Remember that? Right. Now that is your knowledge of algebra. Right. So that little bit of knowledge of algebraic unequal theory, we're going to put it here. Right. Now you have the same sheet of paper with you. Same sheet of paper, right? This paper, right? 111, 50, 111, 60, that paper, right? Right. Now, I want to do small exercise. Only for this session, this sum that I may have to struggle a little bit to convince you. Otherwise, you are, after that, you are also convinced, I am also convinced, it's easy flow. Right. Now see, in the first line of the grid, you will see like this. What? USD LKR 111 50 oblique 111 60. So I took 1 month forward here, 1 month forward, and in the grid it says 70 80. Since I took it out, then it says 70.80. This how the grid is now. So what I want you to do is mentally you take the oblique off. For me, CC because it's a matter of erasing. You mentally take the oblique off from the question paper. Right. You take the oblique off from this source as well. And give a relationship to these two now. 100 level 50 is less than 100 level 60. So therefore, it's like this. Now you took the oblique off out and put the unequal sign mentally again. That unequal sign has to be a lesser sign. In 0.7 not, 0.8 not, I took the oblique off and take a relationship again, give a relationship, and it's less than 80. Now you see a pair here with unequal sign directing into one direction. And therefore you can add only. That is why I put add here. Right? This is not a trade term, not a backup of trade, it's purely algebra. Right. Now tell me one or two people whether you understood why I said add here. Don't worry about this now. Why I put add here? Just give me a nudge quickly as possible. I like to have different names. Yes, Gerald. If A is equal to B, B is equal to 2, C is equal to 3, 4 is equal to 4. Right. I will rush quickly. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Right. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now here, A is less than B. C is less than D. A is less than B, C is less than D. So you can add only. That means A plus C is less than B plus D. A plus C means 4. B plus D is 6. You understood now? You can add only, you cannot subtract. Right. Thank you, Gerald. But Gerald, I think I get your point slightly. Didn't want to, mention that in the board. You can subtract, but then you get extraneous answers that get disturb the unequal sign. Right? You try work out and see. Unless you know the values, it's extremely difficult for you to judge whether it's actually the left-hand side is less or great. If you put figures, you can arrive at a figure, disregarding the unequal sign at all. Right? For example, 0 is less than 1, but 1 is greater than -1, like that. But when you put A and B, it's extremely difficult unless you know the values, it's difficult. So when you say difficult, that means mathematically there's no solution for it. Right. Fine. I have got, it's very strange. A lot of people have understood that. Fine. Good, good. Very good. So now you understood the why I took add here straight away. Right? I put add because that's the knowledge that I have. Now you also have that knowledge of this unequal chaining. Right. Add. Now then the question comes, why 1 month forward? Because the contract being booked for 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. So there are 2 months. But I took only for 1 month. Why is that? That we have to check that. Right. Now see, once again, contract being booked for 8 weeks, which is for 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. That means with the option period, you have 2 months actually. So when you take the spot rate, you have to go shift back to 2 months. Not to 70, but to 130. Look at the Great. But I took only 70. Why is that? If I took the option period, then what happens? If I took the option period, second option period, that is the second month forward, it says 130 and 140. Now forget about this one now. Now we are going to second month forward. Second month forward says 130 and 140 cents. So with rupees, it's 130 and 140. Give a relationship, 130 is less than 140. And compare with the spot figure, this was the less, this was the less. Inverse sign directs to one direction. Therefore, you can add only. So if I take the 2 months forward, still the add narration will not get changed. So then you say add 2 months forward. When you add 2 months forward, you have to add, instead of 70 cents, if I took the 130, I have to add 130 here. If I add 130, I'll get a figure higher than 120. My objective is what? You forgot? My objective is to hold the least possible rate in the export leg since you are buying. Right? So if you take the option period is for the customer, for the bank. So if you take the option period and try to quote a rate, you tend to give a higher rate to the customer. That is why I did not take the option period and refrain from taking the option period and gave only the fixed period to the customer. If I took the option period, then you say add 2 months forward, instead of 70, you put 130. If you put 130, you get a figure 112.80. That is 60 cents higher than the rate with the fixed period. That is why I took only the 1 month forward. Right. So I need another set of another round of yes or no, so that could proceed further. Yes. Right. Right. That of course, if you miss here, if you have a little bit of gray area, when you do the UR to USD, you will catch it. Right. Now you took it down this, no? USD healthcare spot 111.50. This is the only part you are going to put in the exam, right? Not this all jargon. This is in your knowledge. USD healthcare spot 111.50. Why you took the 150? As opposed to 160, you are going to explain in there. You got yourself explained here. And 1 month forward, 7 says 112.20 if my casting is right. Right. Next one. Euro to USD. What? Take it down with me. 1.412 knot. Now you know why I took the 1.412 knot instead of 1.413 knot. I told you this is the first leg actually, though in some it says given in the second grid, second column in the grid. It's the first leg in our expression. You have to convert euro to USD first and from USD to LKR secondly. So when you convert euro to USD, US dollars has to be sold. So when you sell, you have to sell at a least rate because this is an indirect quote. In an indirect quote, you know, you always sell low and buy high. So that is why I took the least rate, lesser rate. Right. Now remember, contract being booked for 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. Right? Contract being booked for 1 month fixed and for 1 month option. Right. Excuse me for a while. Now, yeah, take it out with me, right? See, let's two months forward. Let's 2 months forward. 0.0028. And when you subtract 0.0028 from 1.4120, the answer is 1.4092. Just check with your answer, right? I don't have the workings here. Right. Now give me a chance to explain to you. Now let's 2 months forward, not 2 8. Now, can you tell me why I took 2 months forward here? And now you know the idea why I'm subtracting. So we will go through the rehearsal again and see whether you can draft it properly, right? Now see, the spot rate being given as 1.4120 and 1.4130. Don't take it down like that. You are going to look at the grid, right? 1.4130. Just stare at the grid the way that I'm writing. This is how it states. I took the 2 months forward here. We'll figure out why we take the 1 month, right? I took the 2 months forward, and 2 months forward it says 280, 260. It's a decimal point. So we sort out that first reading. When you take the sense of, you have to divide by further 100. So that is why I put here 0, 0. I told you that we need to, shift the decimal places, 2 places onto your left hand side when you divide by 100. Otherwise, you can take the calculator and see. So, and 0.00280, usually when you are coding, you code for 4 decimal points. Right? Now see, here 1.4120, 1.4130. So you take the oblique off mentally. So I took it off. And 0.0028, take the oblique off, is 0.0026. Now given relationship, 1.4120 is less than 1.4130. 28 is higher than 26. Now you see the unequal sign set posing to indirect directions, to opposite directions. So therefore you cannot add, you can subtract only. That's why I put less here. Understood? Right? That's why I put less here. Now the question arises, why I took this 2 months here instead of taking 1 month? Why the bank opted to take the option period? Now see, if I refrain from using the option period, I ended up with taking 150 stuff. Look at the grid, 150. 150 has to compare with 130. So here this is be 150, that means 15. That has to be compared with 130, that means 13. 0013. You get the same relationship here. 15 is greater than 13. So compared to the spot rates, this again is on the what you call opposite direction. You have to subtract. So if you use the 1 month forward or the second month forward according to this sum, you are going to subtract. Higher the figure you subtract, lesser the figure that you get. And my objective was to quote the least possible rate. And that is why I took the option period in here. Right? And I said 2 months forward. 1.4092. Yes, I have a question. Yes, Gerald. That's what I said. You have put in a better way there. Greater deduction gives you a lesser result. Greater deduction is 2 months forward. Very good. Right? Higher the amount that you subtract, lesser the amount you get in. And why I'm doing that? Because your objective is to quote the least possible rate. Why? You are in the export leg. Right? In the import leg, it's the other side of it. Other side of the coin. Understood? Right. Now give me another. Yes. Gerald, obviously you have got it right. And anybody else has got the hang of it? Anybody else? Abhishek, yes. I want one more. Sarida Darshini, yes, yes. Thank you. Jana, now only you're joining. Ah, with that question, she left the meeting also. Right. So you took it down the two calculations, right? Now remember, you get 1 point for this, 1 point for this. When I say 1 point for this and all, that is not for the method, right? For the answer. So you have to be very careful on the answer. It has to be very precise up to the decimal point. Because the examiner, not the examiner, the paper marker will have the answer only, right? So for this, you get 1 point. For this, you get another point, 2. For this, you get 1 point. For this, you get 1.4. Right. Now, what is the cross currency then? UR to LKR is equivalent to UR to USD into USD to LKR. You need to write this because I am writing this for me. It's easy for me to explain, right? UR to USD to USD to LKR. UR to USD is 1.414992. USD to LKR is 112.20. Multiply this and give it for 4 decimal points. When I say 4 decimal points means if the 50 decimal point is 5 or more than 5, you add 1 to the 4th basis point. Right. So 1.4092, 112.20. So you get, just see whether you are getting, I have given the answers also in the assignment. I have put 158, 1122. Just check with your answers. Huh? I don't have a proper calculator. I will see whether from my phone whether I can get it. Yes. I am ending up with the answer 158.11224. 4 is less than 5. So therefore the answer will be 158.1122. But the question is Roman 2. Describe the base of calculation and determine the amount John will expect to receive. So this is not the answer. Right? So underneath you say, after getting this, you say, therefore, the amount that John Limited, therefore, the amount that John Limited will receive for the first export shipment first export shipment is equivalent to 158.1122 multiplied by the value of the shipment. Value of the shipment being given in the first paragraph of the sum. It's actually the total of 200,000 split into 2 assignments, 100,000 each. So therefore, value of the shipment you have to multiply by 100,000. That will give 15,811,220. You can feed it to the calculator and multiply by 100,000. But I have seen many students, when you put it to the calculator, they tend to invert the figures. So you have to be careful. You get the mark for this, not for this, or either for these two. You are getting a mark for this. So 100,000 is 10 to the power of 5. And here you get 4 decimal points. You add 1 0 and separate the figures. 100,000 means 10 to the power of 5, you get 5 zeros. And here you get the rate, you get the 4 decimal points to add a 0 and separate the figures. And if it's 200,000, while separating the figures, you multiply by 2. Right. Now we'll go for the second export shipment. And take down the base of calculation quickly as possible. I have only quarter hours now. What's the title? The caption? Second export shipment. This shipment was made. During 10th week from the date of contract. You can look at the sum. I'm also looking at the sum and telling you the base of calculation. It's not a difficult task, right? This shipment was made during 10th week from the date of contract. Proceeds of same will receive. Power issue. What is the power issue? Anything that I could help you, Rupa Singh, Chagita Rupa Singh? Right. Due to entry for the record, proceeds of same will receive 2 weeks after the date of shipment. 2 weeks after the date of shipment. Therefore, contract will have to be booked. 12 weeks from the date of contract. 12 weeks from the date of contract. Continue, which is for 2 months fixed and 1 month option. So if you can manage that little trace, you will get 1 or 2 marks there. Very likely 1 mark. Right? How do I get that 2 months fixed? You divide the total number of weeks, that is 12 weeks, divide by 4 with the assumption. Then 12 divided by 4 is 3 without remaining. From that 3, you have to give 1 month for option, then 2 months fixed and 1 month option. That's why I said 2 months fixed and for 1 month option. That is understood? Right. So I'll do the calculation. Not that I'm rushing, but I will slightly speed up without a fundamental explanation. But if you get stuck a little bit again, you will let me know. Right. USD 12 क्या spot? Now you know why I'm taking this on 1150. I'm still in the export leg. Second export shipment means you are still in the export leg. Then my objective is to quote the least possible rate. That is my only objective. My means the bank. Right? So the contract is booked for 2 months fixed and for 1 month option. Right. Right. I need to give tell you a small hint in here. Fearing that you might tend to make a confusion here. If the contract been booked for 2 months fixed and for 1 month option, then you have to check the 2 months forward rate first. You can't go for the spot trade or to the first month forward. That is why I started with the 130. I can't go to the 70 and check because it's booked already for 2 months. I did say in the first instance that all worst scenario that you are putting it to the customer. But that doesn't mean that you can hoodwink the customer. Customer has already booked for 2 months fixed. So he's entitled for that. So therefore, I can't check it for first month. Even though the bank sees that is profitable. You have to go for the second month. And with the option, third month. Right? And USB, URD, what you call URD, USB also same thing. First I checked the second month. Then I went back to the option period. Then I saw going to the option period is more profitable because you are deducting higher figure. As Gerald suggested. Higher the figure, less than the figure that you get it. So cross colors means it's a multiplication. The product of these two rates will be 158.78856. You get it. So the what you call fifth decimal point is more than 5. So I added 1 to the fourth basis point. 158.7886. Right. So here there you say the amount of that John Limited will receive. The amount that John Limited will receive for the second export shipment is equal to 158.7886 multiplied by the value of the shipment, again is 100,000. Now you know how to do this. Add a 0 and separate the figures. Add a 0 and separate the figures. 15,878.86, you added the 0. Okay. You never go wrong then. Right. Now we have another difficult, not a difficult thing. Then we have to do the import leg. You try the imported cost and come, right? But I'll do definitely. And also there's a difficult thing with regard to cancellation of a contract. Before the expiry, there are certain instances the exporter says that I'm unable to export this shipment, therefore cancel the contract. So that is something very uncomfortable for the bank after being booked the contract before expiry if the customer cancels it. So we need to refresh some fundamentals before doing that particular cancellation. So next session, I'll promise that I will do that process as well. Now I have a couple of minutes, more than a couple of minutes rather. That is, mm, yes, 7 to 8 minutes. Now I can, you go through the thing and you just concentrate and see which there are any areas I can apply to you, except for the nudge being given as power issue. That of course I don't know what does it mean by that. Right. Figure out a question or two so that I could help you out. In the meantime, I'll please the board and come. Also, I need to tell one more thing. If any student or students have joined the class, that is today or last Sunday, that is I have that means that they have missed couple of sessions with regard to forex, right? Especially. So when I'm doing the sum, don't try to figure out on your own the concepts and it come to a conclusion. Try to call me and try to figure out with the sum near you. When you get stuck, then ask me, I will explain. Right. I have a question. I think others also can. Now, I'm a bit curious to know this, right? When now Gerald has put a question, can others also see that question? Fine. Uh, right, very good. So he's asking me whether the export cancellation similar to the import cancellation. I know import cancellation is completely different to the export cancellation. But then it's a no and yes answer. The approach what you are doing to the export cancellation is a complete opposite of the import cancellation. Right? So completely different. So don't think too far. Don't attempt the cancellation. But when you're canceling an export, that gives an encouragement for the import to the country. Now I'm taking a different view, right? So when you are having export, that means foreign currency is coming in. That's the inflows of money. When the customer says that he's canceling export, the foreign currency doesn't come, right? So that is as good as the imports have gone up. So with the balance of, if you take the balance of payment or the balance of trade figure, the trade figure deficit will go high if the imports are higher than exports when you cancel the export, right? So in that sense, it's similar. But in the working out in here, how we do the cancellation of import and the cancellation of export is completely different. And based on this question, once again, up to now, from the inception of the exam, cancellation of an import, they have not tested, though I do in the class. They are harping on only on export cancellation, but you should be geared off how to handle the cancellation of an import also as well. This is the other side of the coin actually. Gerald, I hope that you understood. Right. Any other questions? with regard to I did adding and subtracting and plenty of things, you can reserve those and make a text on to me or call or drop a mail. I will try to explain. I noticed one of students joined today, and let me know if there are any difficult areas that I could help you to catch you up. We don't have a lot of time, right? So time in the sense now we have until 3rd week of September. Now the core area we have the UCP and the Incoterms we have just started. So Incoterms I can finish. I have the confidence of finishing it. Forex to some level I should be able to groom you. So the Forex is there for your this thing, right? Forex is there. URC you have to study. So that's a little part on your part also as well. And I'll do some assignments also as well in case of URC. Then the Incoterms of the assignments we have to do. Then I have another big area which is another very attractive session. Like the Forex, you can grab that 20 marks somehow. The structuring of facilities, revolving facilities. I need time for that also as well, right? So try to be regular and within the pace of available time, you try to squeeze off somehow the. But you do the assignments and try to be with me and keep the space with me so that you should be able to grasp it properly. Right. So time is up now. I can entertain just for 2 minutes actually. I can entertain 1 or 2 questions. Then we'll wind up and go through that the sum. Don't do different sums. Forex I did the first export shipment, second export shipment I did. Do that first export shipment and the second export shipment over and over again for about 3-4 times. Right? Then you will get the what you call the accuracy and the speed. Very, very important that is. Right? So you need to adapt that and try to work out like that. And don't forget the homework that I have given in the URC assignment, the question number that is 3rd bullet, I think. Yes. Right. Then we'll wind up the class. I'll see you on next Sunday once again. Right. Thank you.